It is a rotten day here, Saturday at the training center. It's spitting, which is good because it was pouring earlier. This is the type of weather that precipitated us moving the open house. Now, if this was a normal year, pre or post, I hope, COVID, the show would have to go on. I mean, it's going to be sticky and mucky and rotten tomorrow, but if our clients, our friends had been in town, if you guys had been here, we were going to go out to Flamborough or Mohawk and have a night together and hang out, we would drone. But really, all we have to go back on this year is content, our horses, right? And we should look to have the best day that we can, and it is not going to be tomorrow. We could have muscled through with the horses. The track's not horrible today, even after all the rain. But with the wind, the drone would have been a mess also. Curtis has you've seen some of those days where it's a little bit windier than we thought, or what we would say borderline for the drone to fly. And it just doesn't look good because Curtis can't catch up to the horses. You get bad angles, and I know it bothers him, and I'm sure it bothers you guys too. So we want to look for a good day if we can, and this week is not a good week. Saturday looked okay and Friday looked okay. The problem with Saturday or Sunday this week is the charity drivers tournament. So I think a fairly big card that London is putting on Sunday afternoon. Saturday Curtis has to go down and set up for that. He's not going to get done here till 3 to work all day here and then go down to London, set up, have everything ready to go. And Curtis is extremely meticulous. When Curtis says it's ready to go, it's because it is flawless. It is ready to go. And he just wasn't comfortable doing it. I'd asked him about Friday, and he said, yeah. And I thought about it after he agreed to do it. It's his birthday Friday. So Curtis, obviously there's no big birthday parties this time of year. And the frustrating thing is, Monday, Guelph and the surrounding areas goes into the red zone here in Ontario. What that means is, so orange, I forget how they went. They went yellow, orange, red, gray. And gray is shut down. Gray is what shut down Woodbine Racetrack, the thoroughbred track. The Peel region, the Toronto region, went into the gray zone because of the surging COVID cases, and they shuttered virtually everything. We were in the orange zone. Just watching Eternity Road jog. Not bad. We were in the orange zone, and I've been told that Monday we're going to the red. Now, I was in Cambridge the other day, which is just about 20 minutes down the road, not even 15 or 10 minutes down the road to the dealership from my house in Cambridge. So I live in Guelph, down on the 401. Go down the 401 for 10 minutes, and there's Cambridge. Cambridge was already in the red zone, and I dropped my car off to get the tires done, and I went to grab a bite to eat, and I opened the door of the restaurant. I said, table for my wife and I too, and she said, I'm really sorry, we're full. There's no one here. She said, there's 10 people here. That's the limit in the red zone. She goes, I'm really sorry. So as sorry as she was, I feel bad. We've been in the middle of this pandemic for 9 months now, and these restaurants, man, oh man. I lived my whole life in horse racing, worked my way up from being a stall cleaner when I was a kid to being a caretaker, a second trainer, driver, and now whatever the position is I hold here. It's a long way up, and I'm very proud of my career, but it's always been a difficult business. When you look at the business and then compare it to regular jobs, you don't have job security, very poor insurance. It's not an awesome industry sometimes, but now when you compare being in horse racing to everyday businesses, like those poor people that own that restaurant, bartenders, anybody in the service industry, man, oh man, it's just been such a tough time for everybody. So, I'm a Christmas guy. I'm not going to let COVID ruin my Christmas. I'm still going to have my family around me, and we're going to have a good Christmas. But for those of you out there that can't, not much I can do other than to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and give you some foresight to look ahead and say, these vaccines are here. Surely by next summer, we'll be able to roll these things out in a way that allows everyday healthy people like myself, or hopefully you, to get these vaccines, so that 2021 and beyond never looks like 2020, at least for the coronavirus. So I'll leave it to you like this. I hope to run into everybody in Pennsylvania and Ohio and at the fairs, have a beer after the races that we've won, and maybe go have a steak and talk about the year that was. More importantly, talk about the year that is, which is 2021. It's around the corner. It's coming. It's 2 weeks away. We can put this nightmarish year away and then look at hopefully the optimism of 2021. And as I said, if you're a restaurateur, if you're a restaurant owner, or anybody in the service sector, hang in there. Tough year for you guys, tough year for everybody, but definitely a tough year for you guys. And not only is help on the way, but the future is bright for everybody, I hope, when it comes to racing. So, as I said, the weather we're having now precipitated us to move the open house to next Friday. The reason being, Curtis can't work on Saturday, can't work on Sunday with us. He was pre-booked for those 2 days. He's sought after in this industry for sure. So Curtis said he'd do Friday. I forgot about it. I'm a little embarrassed. It was James that reminded me that, geez, Curtis is going above and beyond. That's his birthday. So thanks to him for doing that. It should be a decent day. The weather looks good leading up. The track should be in good shape. It isn't getting really, really cold all week, so you won't have that muckiness, that tacky track from the frost. It's getting up to 2 or 3 degrees above, so it should be a nice day on Friday. The winds are relatively low, according to the weather app, 7 days out, or 5 days out, 6 days out. So it should be a good day next Friday. For those of you that are going to work and can't tune in, I truly apologize, but understand that, as I said from the outset, we only have our content right now. We only have our horses, and we want to put on the best show that we can. The broadcast portion of the virtual open house is in place, and you can be sure that Kelly and Curtis have done a great job with that. So it's just up to us, the people on the track, to do a good job, and the horses also. So next Friday should be a lot of fun. It should be a great day for everybody. Unfortunately, you can't be here, but if you could, we would have had experience kind of a messy, muddy Friday or Sunday. Instead, we get to move it a short distance down the road, kick the can a little bit down the road to have a nice day. So that is the bad news. As I said earlier this week, we have a plan in place for Shed Row 5. Now, our vets watch our videos, I guess, and Dr. Grosenbacher called me and said, I don't think you were completely correct. Next Thursday, we're testing every horse in the barn, and every horse has to test negative. Okay, that sounds fair. I would assume if 3 tests negative, they'll all test negative. Hopefully there isn't, I don't want to use ridiculous words, but any super carriers out there that just hang on to it. All the horses in that shed row look healthy, so I have no reason to believe that next Thursday we won't get anything but negatives across the board for those horses, and then we'll be able to race next weekend. That is the plan we're working with. Next Thursday, every horse in Shed Row 5 will be tested. I assume every horse will come back negative, and our horses will already be entered for Friday, Saturday, Sunday of next week. Now, in the minute chance that one of those horses come back positive, no one can leave. Now, I would say, I'm not a scientist or an epidemiologist, but I would say, given the information I've been told from veterinarians, it's more than likely everybody will come back negative. There's no reason to believe they wouldn't. So that's where we're at with that. That's a good thing. I had also reported to you this week that Pennsylvania was shutting down, and Governor Wolf had pulled the trigger on that. Then, through negotiation, I'll tell you what, not often you're going to find a casino operator that will support horse racing. They tolerate it, they'll allow it, but to support it, not very often. And the MSOA and the people that are in charge at the Meadows do care about their horsemen. It is coming up to Christmas. We can't have cancellations right before Christmas unless it is an absolute necessity. And they worked out an agreement where they would race. They would continue to race. So I'm not gonna pat anybody on the back. I'm gonna pat everybody on the back in Pennsylvania. The horsemen, the Horsemen's Association, and the operator of the Meadows racetrack for keeping the races going when the casino will be shut down. So congratulations to them. As a horseman, regardless, I do race. I did a lot of racing in Pennsylvania this summer, and truthfully speaking, I think the Meadows would be the track I raced the most at this year in 2020. So although I'm not a resident of Pennsylvania, and although I'm not a full-time horseman at the Meadows, horsemen and I personally appreciate what the operators have done, what the track has done, what the horsemen themselves have done in keeping the racing going there. As I'd reported, I thought that the races were going to be canceled, that the remaining cards were done, scrapped, and they worked out a way to keep it going. So good for them. We did have some horses race this week. I thought raced really, really well. Our horses continue to look good. The Turn to Road looks really good. Starts out a little stiff, that horse on that left hind, but watching him jog after a couple of laps, I think it might just be the scar tissue. So that's good. It's a good day. Jesse Balboa, Johnny and I were just talking about it, and he had said to me, he goes, somebody had said it's been a long road for Jesse. He said, Jesus, he's only 2. And I said, well, you have to understand, people have been watching Jesse Balboa since November, right? It isn't just calling your trainer on the phone saying, how's Jesse? How's Jesse? We're going to give him some time. We're going to give him some time off, do some work, change him around. Everybody gets to see him all the time. So it seems like a long road, but he's a 2-year-old. And when he qualified, he seemed okay. I hadn't gone with him much other than to train him a couple of times here, but he raced very, very good last night. Somebody said, what happened in the last turn? He got all out of gear. Well, that's him paying attention. He trotted up way, way up over his knee and cut his leg. He touched it. He hit it. Now, we can cover that up and tinker with his shoes. I'm not really worried about that. Most importantly, to cover it up next week. But he actually drew blood on his arm, way up over his knee, and still stayed at it, still stayed trotting. And when he did hit it, he ran sideways a bit. I'm not so sure I didn't touch the wheel of Colin Kelly beside me. I'd asked him after, and he said, yeah, he touched up a little bit. I didn't flatten his tire or anything, but, this horse hit himself, then hit a wheel, stayed trotting, come back on, shot through the inside to finish second. Now, that's a determined little 2-year-old. So congratulations to Jesse Balboa's owners, my partners on the horse. He was very, very good last night. Looks like a bright future for this colt. I don't think he's headed to the Hambletonian, but looks like he's going to be a very useful horse for us. That was a very good step forward for Jesse Balboa. Stonebridge Simba's racing tomorrow in the final of the $25,000 Progressive Claiming Series. For those of you out there still worried he can be claimed, you can't claim out of the final. I think we did the best job we could and had him in the perfect position. And do I think he's the best in the final? No, but it's a horse race and anybody can win. So good luck to the group, the Stonebridge Simba group. Stormont Wizard races on Monday, coming off a little scratch, freshen him up. He drew very well in the final. Billy likes his chances coming in. So for the people that own Stormont Wizard, also good luck with him. Now, those horses are involved with groups also. So a number of people own shares in both of those horses. That Ohio group sold out now. The Winter group sold out now. The Ontario group, all those groups are all sold out. So it worked out very, very well. I was, I guess, a little surprised that the groups were that well received, and now I feel stupid that we waited 5 years to do them. But I guess they're going to become a mainstay at the stable. For those of you out there that are really drilling down on those groups, you're asking me, hey, Anthony, how do I sell my share? It's a great question. I told somebody, I think with the groups, I kind of maybe got the cart before the horse a little bit. I assumed that we would be able to sell 1% of the Ohio group, the same way we would sell 1% of a horse in the Ohio group. But the Eric, the site programmer, he said it's not that easy. It's actually much more difficult. So for now, it's going to be feeling around in the dark. If somebody wants to sell their share of one of those groups, I will put it up for sale. And I'll be quite honest with you, we did do one group 2 years ago. Now, this group was a little more aggressive. We tried to put the best horses we could in there. This group, much like the other ones, is managed by me, and we can move the horses around much more fluidly. If one horse wasn't racing good, sell those shares, bring another horse in. It was a very aggressive and very fluid group, and it was the global group, the spring group, and we did it 2 years ago. Now, there's 330 30 shares of some of our best horses in that group. We're going to be making some amendments to that group also in the coming weeks. There are some horses in there that aren't going to be effective, and we're just going to move them. So there is one person looking to sell their share of the global group, and it wasn't like the other groups where we just sold a ton of shares. There wasn't 100 available. There was 30. That's all there was. There was 30 shares available, 30 lots available to own 300 shares. So if somebody wants the particulars of that group out there, I'll be happy to send them to you. I would like to get this share moved. It's not a $400 lot. It's quite a bit more, like 10 times that. So 30 of us own lots in this group. Now I'm tinkering with a way to move them easier. Do I split them like the stock market? It's not an easy thing to do. Ultimately, what I would like to do is sell that lot and get it put out to somebody that would really like it, and then move the shares around the way I feel they should be moved around for the spring into the summer, and then continue on that way with that horse. What is this? Oh, that's Johnny's horse. Oh. So that's what I'm going to do with that lot. Eventually, I'll get it moved. I haven't really reached out to anybody yet, particularly one-on-one. Figured I'd put it out to you first. Be lazy, I guess. So there is one lot of the global group available right now heading into the Christmas season. So we talked about the weather, how it changed the open house. We talked about Pennsylvania is going to keep racing. I was right in the middle of moving horses around. They were going to start moving today. We had some going to Ohio, some going to Dover, and I know that we had a number of our clients that wanted a couple to go to New York, but that's a little more difficult. Until I had sent an email out to the New York State Racing Commission saying if 66 people own 20% of a horse, that's well below 1%, are you still going to make them get licensed? My understanding is the answer would be yes, which makes it very difficult to do business in New York, which is a New York problem. It's not a stable problem, and it makes it very difficult for our New York clients also, who do want to participate. They have New York licenses. They live in New York, but it makes it very difficult for us to maneuver around in a very fluid, malleable way, I guess, in New York State with the licensing woes there. And for the people that don't believe it's a big deal, it is. It is a big deal. You buy 1% of the Ohio group, and we send Cruising in Style to New York, and you said, okay, so I paid $452 for my shares in the group. Now I have to get a $200 license, $100 and some dollars. And the guys in New York said, it's not that much. Well, it is. By the time you get the fingerprints taken here, ship them back, pay all the processing fees to New York State, it's upwards to $200 American for a first-time owner, and I can't do that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe New York State will say, hey, I'm offering them kind of an olive branch and saying, okay, what if we have less than 1%? Is that going to be okay for you? Maybe they'll message back and say, yeah, that's fine. In which case, hey, we're good to go. Maybe we'll just put our New York horses in groups from now on. Try to get around the rule in that regard. If they don't want to do what's best for their own state and their own racing, then maybe they'll allow us this round of the rules, so to speak. So we're there right now. I'm waiting to hear back from them, and then we'll see where that goes. As I said, talked about Jesse Balboa. Congratulations last night. Great second place finish in his first lifetime start in London. Time Al Houdini won the last race, just crushed them first over. Kevin had him real good. Paul McKenzie drove him great, and the horse looked good. He's found a little bit of a home in London, hasn't he? Struggled a little bit at Flamborough. Really wasn't a Mohawk horse. He likes London, and it looks like London likes him. So Time Al Houdini was fantastic. Stonebridge Simba, Stormont Wizard, racing good. Oso Pine was great last week. I don't want to miss anybody now that I'm branching out all over the place. Rooney Blue Chip is in Monday in Northfield Park with Billy Rhodes. Made a little shift over there with him. He's already raced there, so there shouldn't be any issues with licensing with our clients. The same people own them. And then what else? We have a number of horses in to go this week also at the Meadow. So everything appears to be going well. Fox Valley Britska qualified great the other day. We are in the midst of a of a great run. You're leaving? Okay. Bye-bye. Bye! Bye, Addie Bear.
Oh, it's raining now. Okay, good.
Amy's heading home. So, yeah, we're in the midst of having a pretty good run right now. Very, very happy with what's going on. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to solidify who we're breeding the mares to. I know the last week I kind of pushed it off. We do have Dewey Ann, who I think, but she's in full. Sorry, we don't have Dewey Ann to breed. She's in full. We do have Stolen Dance to figure out where we're going with her. Are we going to Ontario? We're going to breed her in another jurisdiction. Who are we going to breed her to? I have a short list and a couple of jurisdictions on that list, so we'll be sharing that with our clients with Stolen Dance. And Muscle Chrome. Now, Muscle Chrome is in to go tonight. It is pouring rain. I am not going to drive her. So, for my partners, I own almost all of her. So, for my partners out there saying, oh, good, Anthony's going to go drive her, not tonight. That's not going to happen. I'm just not going to race in the pouring rain. I don't know any other way to put it. So, that's just the way it is. So, Muscle Chrome is racing tonight at Flamborough Downs. We have a number of maidens getting ready to race right now, and when that box starts filling up London, Flamborough, even Mohawk, and Muscle Chrome's finding it tough to get in, I think at any point we're going to stop racing her, get her under the lights, and get her ready to be bred. Who are we breeding her to? One of our clients called me the other day and said, what about Archangel? I wouldn't rule out Archangel. It's not I don't think my favorite sire. I like the thought of maybe Green Manalese. She's out there right now. My MVP, I always liked. He's done. I know people are going to send me analytics and numbers. I don't really care about the analytics. I'm looking at what we've had, what worked for the stable. My MVP has done nothing but good at thestable.ca. So I certainly don't have any problems with my MVP. There's a number of horses in Ontario right now that will do the trick just fine. Happy to have the dialogue. Interested to talk to people. This is a big endeavor for me also, right? I own, as I said, almost all of Muscle Chrome. So to breed her is it's a new. I owned a couple of shares of, I own some of Dewey Ann and a little bit of Stolen Dance, but my broodmare roster the shares of my roster is very, very low. Also, Capistrano. I've been lobbying hard for Down by the Seaside. Now his book's full and closed. I think I might be able to scrounge up a breeding of Down by the Seaside. So that's where I would like to go personally for Capistrano. For those of you out there that are Ontario owners, I just don't see anything in Ontario for her. And before you say, Better's Delight, one, it's expensive, and two, a small stud to a small mare, I'd rather not race a dash hound. So I'm not going to a smaller sire. Shadow Play, again, I'm not really that intrigued by. But, again, we'll talk to my partners on Capistrano and see what they want to do. I personally, I'll put it out there, after seeing the crop of Down by the Seaside, and again, I have zero interest in the analytics of, well, he's an unproven sire and let's wait and see. No, I'm not waiting and seeing. I saw the horses. I keep telling you guys this all the time. When you're at a yearling sale, when you're looking at horses, you can only, if you make good looking horses, you'll throw good horses. And I don't care what sire you are. If you show me a crop full of gorgeous, big, strong, good-looking horses, there's going to be some good horses in there, especially when they get a lot of good mares. So Down by the Seaside, I can almost assure you the analytics on him after 2021 will be quite strong, I believe. So, and he is Ohio, as I said, but Ohio's our stomping ground too. Like the stable.ca might be here in Ontario, but we're not just in Ontario, we're everywhere. And whether it's Ohio, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Australia, although we're not breeding in Australia, but if it was, it's we are across the board. So that is it for the broodmares also. So I've talked about all the racing, everything that's going on, the open house. Let's get to the rest of the videos. Let's talk about the babies. Let's talk about the 2 and 3 year olds. Who's getting ready? Who's come back? All the 2 year olds for the most part that didn't go out late. You're not going to see Jazzy Judy come back until March. You're not going to see That's My Girl come back till January. A couple of the other 2 year olds that really looked a little sore at training and trying to race as 2 year olds. We're going to go with the 90 days with them. So Better's Hope is out for the full 90 days. Cyrus Blue Chip won't be. These horses won't be back till January 1st, but everybody else is starting to trickle back in right now. We had 8 of them arrive from Ohio the other day. I'm very, very excited to see these horses trained down and to get racing them, to see what to see what they're going to become. Keep in mind, the Ohio program is just around the corner. April, first part of April is when the Hackett starts, and that is followed shortly after by the Sire Stakes program for 3-year-olds. The sophomores start in at the end of April, first part of May. So still a ton of stuff going on at the stable. There always is. So first things first, let's get to the open house next Friday. But before that, we'll get to the rest of your videos and get you on your way. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.